Close reading strategies for college students. Reading is a critical part of being a college student, and most students have been reading since they were very small. So it can be easy to take for granted that you already know how to read in ways that will allow you to be successful in your classes. But college-level reading can be very different from what many students are used to. It's typically very challenging, and sometimes it's as frustrating as it is interesting, especially in upper-level courses. This video aims to help you become a more effective college-level reader by introducing the practice of close reading. Close reading involves paying thoughtful, critical attention to texts, focusing on significant details, patterns, arguments, and evidence. Close reading illuminates a text. It allows you to develop a deep, thorough understanding of what you're reading, including its form, structure, arguments, key vocabulary, meanings, and applications to your own life. Reading closely requires more than the book or article you were assigned, but not much more. You'll need a notebook or paper and a pencil for taking notes. It's okay to use a highlighter too. However, research shows that overusing highlighters can distract from reading and understanding what you're studying. Certainly, you don't want to overdo it with highlighting so that your text is meaningless when it comes time to share what you thought was important or where you had questions. Some people take notes on a laptop or tablet, but research does indicate that people learn better. They recall more and reflect more deeply when they've taken handwritten notes. Scholars believe this is because taking notes by hand links thinking with physical action, creating a more durable, embodied cognitive connection to the material. The bottom line is that it's usually best to read with pencil close at hand so that you're actively engaging the material you're studying. If you've borrowed a book from the library, have rented a book, or plan to resell it after the course, you can still take great notes for a close reading of your text. Just put sticky notes on the pages with your comments and questions. Some close readers put numbers on sticky tabs that correspond to notes in their notebook. Others put larger sticky notes with more detailed comments right on the pages of a book or article. If you identify a longer passage of particular significance, you can always photocopy it or take a photo with your phone. One more thing. Be sure to have a dictionary handy as you read, and remember that all dictionaries are not the same. Just Googling a word won't always get you to a standard, reliable definition that you can use in your class. Students have access to online dictionaries, such as the very reliable and respected Oxford English Dictionary, commonly referred to as the OED, through the library website. Finally, learning researchers have found that for most students, about 40 minutes of reading followed by a 10 to 15-minute break doing something totally different is optimal for absorbing and retaining new learning. Set the timer on your smartphone or other device so that you don't go beyond the point of intellectual saturation. Then take a walk, chat with your roommate, do some laundry, or even call your mom. Anything that gives your brain a bit of a break before you take up reading again. With your assigned text and close reading tools gathered, and maybe a nice cup of coffee or a bottle of water, you're ready to begin your close reading. Before you delve deeply into the text, take a few minutes to size it up. Close reading is really a conversation, so you want to learn a bit about the author. Who is she or he? What is her or his field? Does the author bring a particular perspective to the text? What kind of text is it? Is it a scholarly text with footnotes and complex vocabulary? Is it a textbook with a glossary or questions at the end of the chapter? How is it organized? Can the organization help you to break up the reading? Getting to know the text at this level can help you to more productively approach the assignment. The core of close reading is annotation, making notes on what you're reading as you are reading. Annotation slows reading down, but it increases comprehension and retention. There are several annotation strategies that will improve your reading comprehension and retention. Practice with different ones to find the combination that works best for you. Think of your reading not as a long article or a whole book, but as a string of paragraphs. Read one paragraph at a time, pausing after each one to note the key point of the paragraph. Put bracket marks around paragraphs that are especially important. For instance, if the author says, "I am arguing that," she or he is pointing out the argument being made. That's important. You'll want to note that. Underlining key ideas and circling keywords allows you to find them later without having to reread too much when you're reflecting on the reading or perhaps using it to write a paper. It's also helpful to draw lines or arrows between important passages or words to ideas in previous sections so that you can literally see on the page connections that you're making in the reading. Almost any college-level reading will challenge you with new vocabulary, both general words you've not encountered before and specific terminology related to the field of study. Students often just skip over these unfamiliar words, but it's important to look them up so you understand them in context. Circle these words and write the definition in the margin, on a sticky note, or in your notebook. Reading an advanced text can be filled with surprises and questions. As you're reading, put asterisks, stars, exclamation points, question marks, or other symbols in the margins to note these moments as you're reading. What scholars refer to as marginalia, notes in the margins of a text, are often the most fascinating parts of old manuscripts. Perhaps hundreds of years from now, archaeologists will find your copy of Catcher in the Rye with your insightful comments and questions dashed in the margins. Until then, you're not completely done with the assignment when you've finished reading and annotating the text. Close reading requires real reflection, so after a short break, go back to the reading and your notes. How would you summarize the main ideas or arguments from what you've just read? What did you find particularly interesting? What puzzles or confuses you? How does the text connect to your own experience or observation? What questions does the reading raise for you in the context of the class you're taking? Mull these questions as you read over your notes. Then write a summary of your thoughts about the reading. This will inform your participation in class discussions, help you to prepare papers, and complete essay exams. This deeper reflection and written summary will also make for a more satisfying and durable learning experience that you'll be able to take confidently into your next class and into other courses as well. With practice, and you'll get lots of that in college, close reading will help you to succeed in your classes and to grow as a critical thinker more generally.